Beach Fishing Rig Basics. Hi, my name's Roger Osborne. In this video, I'm going to teach you two fishing rigs which have been used by generations off the beach. They are classic rigs. They are simple to do, and I still use them all the time today. And you know how many fish that I catch. I'm going to teach you everything that I'm doing in this video and show you these awesome rigs to help you with your fishing. Stick around to the end for a free PDF download which will outline some vital keys from today's session. If you're enjoying my instructional videos and they're helping you with your fishing, please make sure that you let me know in the comments, and also make sure that you like, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. It's another beautiful afternoon, a little bit overcast, and the wind is blowing quite strong from the northeast. I actually went to a different place because I thought I want to hide from the wind, but when I went to the northern end of a particular beach, it was just too calm, too quiet. And so I thought I need to actually brave the wind a little bit and go down the beach where there's at least a little bit of action. So that's why I'm fishing in this particular location. You know, I would rather fish here even though there's a bit of wind, because it's just too calm at the northern ends of the beaches today in this particular swell. Now, rig number one is called a Paternoster rig. I'm not sure where that name came from, if there was a guy named Paternoster who invented it, but essentially it's where you have a sinker that sits on the bottom and you actually have your bait suspended above your sinker. This particular rig I have here, I've got my sinker down the bottom, and you can see I've got a length of line out the side. It's about 30 centimeters long to my hook. I'm going to put a worm on this bait. Very, very simple. I've simply got a length of line from a three-way swivel to a sinker. I'll show you my setup down here. You can see it's pretty basic. I've just used a swivel, and I've got a little Lumo bead which is guarding the knot, and this star sinker is just running. I have a three-way swivel on my line, and my sinker is about 1 meter below the swivel. And then off this side part of the swivel, I've just got a short leader, and this hook is a mustard size 1 long shank. So that's a very simple rig. The sinker is not fixed at the bottom. You could tie it off and have it fixed. I've got it running there. I don't think it really makes that much difference. But essentially with this type of rig, your sinker lands on the bottom and your bait is suspended off the bottom. You can imagine your line's on an angle like so, and you've just got your bait dangling down like that off the bottom. I'm going to whack a worm on this one and chuck him out, put him in this rod holder. Just want to make sure this is nice and firm, just in case a secret monster grabs it. And I'll put a bit of worm onto this long shank hook. I'm going to toss that out, and then I'll get my other line ready. I can show you rig number two. I use this rig a lot. Now I've got a couple of worms in here. Would you believe these worms, they're alive. I've had them for 2 days. So even though they're 2 days old, when you catch them in your fingers, they stay alive really well, as opposed to pliers. I mean, it's good whichever way you catch them, but they live longer when you catch them in your fingers. And if you'd like to learn how to do that, why don't you check out my website, rogersfishing.com. I have a special course that I've created to help you learn how to catch beach worms. Alrighty, so there you go. I've got my beautiful worm bait hanging off there. Now I can see there's a little bit of current out in the water going from my right to left. That's one of the reasons I've got a star sinker on, just to try and minimize the drift. I'm going to cast a little to the right, out towards the sandbar out the back. So I've put in a fairly decent cast. It's landed in a really good spot out there. I know I say that a lot. I just get excited whenever doesn't matter what type of fishing I'm doing. Now it might not take all that long to get a bite out there. It looks pretty good. And it's getting towards that time of the day now. you know, that last hour or so before dark. So I'm going to go and grab my other rod. I went down to my local harbour today. I wanted to catch a couple of yellowtail. I really just had a quick flick for about 20 minutes. I caught a few small brim, but I managed to get one yellowtail, which I'm going to fillet now and use for bait on this other line. They're a really good bait, the old yellowtail. They're a great live bait or dead bait. So all I'm going to do with this guy, it's not very fancy filleting. So I'm coming up close to its shoulder. I'm just going to cut through like that. I'm just going to turn him around, and I'm being careful of where my fingers are, but I'm running along the backbone. In a second I'm going to actually grab that bit of fillet, so I'll have the line, the knife behind, under there, where I'm not going to cut myself. Oops, he slipped. So you can see there how I've taken that off. There's not much waste, a little bit of flesh left there, but you can see the fish's backbone there, and you've got this lovely piece of yellowtail fillet. So I should be able to get 4 good baits out of this fish. I'll do the same thing on the other side, but probably what I'm going to do here is just split this guy down the middle. Like so. They do have a bit of a bone, like a tough part down the middle. So I've got 2 beautiful pieces of bait out of one side of that yellowtail. I'll get 4 baits from that fish, but those 4 baits, really, that's enough to catch a couple of nice fish. So now I'm going to whack it on my second. First of all, I'm using 2 hooks similar to my deadliest rig, with just like a running stinger hook above a main hook. There's not all that much difference in the size. I've basically got a 1/0 and a 3/0 here, and I want to leave a little bit of a bit up the top where it's thin. So I can half hitch around. I'm going to put this through the flesh side and out the skin side, and I'm pulling it all the way through like that. Then I'm just going to pin it through a bit further down so that it's coming out the flesh side like so. Then I'm going to bring my other hook down, and I'll sort of do something similar. I'm going to put that one through there, and then turn it around and put it through there like that. Then I'm going to do a half hitch at the top to hold it in place, just so that it doesn't slip. Then I've got my nicer piece of fish flesh with my 2 hooks in there. Oops, got to tighten my drag a bit. I can see that my other line's being taken by that current. It's really sweeping that way a long way. I'm going to go down and just get a look at it and see how much of an angle my line is on, and see whether it's actually really sideways or whether it's still out in a depth of water that's okay. It's not too bad, but I expect when I throw this out, because it's a bigger profile bait, it's going to get caught by the current more. So that's just something I'll have to work with. I've just cast that over to my right, over onto towards the edge of that sandbar. It's going to drift. It's definitely going to drift along, but I just want to keep that bait in a zone where there could be some fish for as long as possible. So that's got that lovely little bit of yellowtail on there, and I think I'll pull this one in and chuck it out again on the other side of that one, because this has got the worm bait on it. It's going to be a little bit less, it's going to be more resistant to drift than that big piece of fish bait that I've got on the other one. And I think I'll hold on to this line. Just going to cast this bait a little bit up current from my other bait and hold on to it. See if I can get myself a nice brim or a salmon or something. My worm wasn't touched on the first cast. Flick my line in this little trough over here. It's not that deep, but it's out of the current, and there could be something in there. A little bit more protected from the current there, and it's right on low tide right now. So as the tide starts to come in over the next hour or so, it will start to fill up a bit. I'm not sure. Yeah, I got a fish. Whoa, go the yellowtail. So this fish has taken that fillet of yellowtail. Okay, gonna walk along the beach a bit. Here he comes. That's a really fat salmon, that one. Look at that. He's a big fat salmon. I just caught this fish on rig number 2, which I will explain to you when I take the hook out. He's just been hooked by the smaller hook. He's kind of mangled this piece of yellowtail. Now I've got some fish at home, so I don't need this guy. I'm going to let him go. He's already pretty fat, but he's going to get bigger now. Oh, there he goes. Woo! Oh, where's he going now? Oh! I'll have to whack that other piece of yellowtail on. Salmon eat just about anything, although they absolutely love beach worms. Rig number 2 is a classic running sinker rig. Really very simple. It is purely a sinker on your main line. I have a bead in front of it to protect the knot, to a swivel, and then purely a length of line to your hooks. So basic. Running sinker, to a swivel, a length of line, and the type of hook that you would be using really is dictated by the bait that you're using. If I was using a worm bait on this rig, I'd have a long shank hook on here for my worm bait. Now this is the most simple rig, so quick and easy to do, and incredibly effective. I use this rig for all types of fishing, and really a wonderful rig for beginners because it's so easy and it's very effective. And the general thinking behind this style of rig is that with the running sinker, is if a fish picks up your bait and swims away, it can pull line through there. It doesn't feel the weight of the sinker. The sinker remains on the bottom and the fish just pulls the line out, feels no resistance. Because some fish are known to drop a bait if they feel something unusual or some weight. Not always the case. So that's why a running sinker is liked by a lot of people. And before I had my piece of yellowtail on here, and I just caught that lovely salmon. And I'm going to whack another little bit of yellowtail on here and toss it straight back out again. So this is the other side of that piece of yellowtail. Going to whack, oh, got myself with the hook. Put that in. I usually use my thumb to push it. So I got that hook in there. I'm going to get my other hook, which is run down the line. I'll turn him back over. Really just going to push it through there and back through there. So that's in there like that. That salmon got caught on the small hook, the one that I just caught. It does happen a lot. You get the stinger hook does nail the fish. Heaps of people who have been using my rigs send me testimonies about how many fish they catch on that little stinger. So that's perfect, ready to go back out again. Using this type of bait, really, you have the potential to catch a variety of different species of fish off the beach. Flathead love this type of bait. So do brim and trevally. Mulloway love yellowtail. Tailor. So you have the ability to catch many different types of fish. At the moment we've got one salmon. I'm going to whack it out the back. Oh, my leg just got wet then. Oh, that's a great spot out there. I'm going to whack this in my rod holder. I'd love to see the line just peeling out. Just going to set my drag so a fish could pull it out without, not too easily, but okay, so I'm going to whack that out there. We'll see what happens. And check my other line. See if I've still got any worm bait. So the yellowtail is beating the worm at the moment. Put a little bit of extra worm on. I haven't lost my worm bait yet, which is a little surprising. But I'm sure I will get a bite on the worm soon. All right. Well, I'm going to hold on to this line and keep my eye on the other one. It's a little bit chilly this afternoon. It is drifting down. I mean, it could be the sinker rolling across the bottom, but it did look like it had a couple of little sort of nibbly bits. It definitely has drifted a fair way, but I think every now and then when a really big wave comes in, it just pushes. The water pushes out quite hard. I'm going to whack this back in here because my other line, both my lines are drifting hard to the left. I'll line this one in. Oh man, that's really gone a long way down that way. Getting a bite. I felt a bite then. Yep, got it. Didn't take that long when I cast out then. So the first fish I caught was on the Paternoster rig. Actually, this is the first fish I caught was on the running sinker rig, sorry. This fish has been hooked on the other rig, the Paternoster style rig. I'm fighting the current a little bit here. The rod that I'm using is my light beach rod. It's only 10 feet long and it's only rated 4 to 7 kilos, but it's a lot of fun. And you can land a lot of, good sized fish. Even though it's a light rod, it's super light to carry, which means you can stand on the beach for ages. It's not heavy. It's a nice place to land a fish here because the water's deep close to shore and you can just wash it up with the wave. Okay, so you can see I've caught a salmon here and I'm just going to hold up the sinker. You can see there's my sinker down there. There's my sinker up here. And you can see where that salmon is. He's taken that bait that was suspended up off the bottom. Now I'm going to quickly dispose of him because he swallowed the hook, so I'll be looking after this fella and eating him. This other line just went really slack, so I'm not quite sure why that is. It's unusual that maybe it just got washed right into shore. Well, that was a good demonstration because each rig has caught a fish. Well, it looks like my bait is still good. Just got a little bit of weed on the line. And that piece of fillet is fine, so I'm going to toss that back out again. You know, because I'm using a star sinker, if it gets washed along the bottom when it's out there, you can imagine it would go, because it's not a ball, it would just go boom, you know, kind of goes boom, 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 boom when it rolls across the bottom. And often you'll see on your rod, you'll see these kind of like that, but it can just be a sinker like this, just kind of roughly rolling across the bottom, and it's not actually a bite. Bites are generally more erratic and more aggressive. So when I got the salmon before, I was watching it to see if it was actually the sinker bumping along the bottom with the current, or whether it was actually a bite. But I could tell it was a bite in the end when I looked at it. So that's just something to note. All right, whack it out the back. Bit of a break in the waves. Cool. That pretty much landed on that sandbar out there, right on the edge of the deep water and the shallow water. That's where the salmon tend to hang out. Getting a bite. That was definitely a bite. Yep. Well, what happened there? Hang on. Winding my line in. I had a fish on. It was a definite solid bite, so I'm going to wind it in. Feels like I got nothing on the end. I think I got my sinker, but I'm wondering if I've been bitten off. Either that or I just lost my bait, but oh, look at that, that's interesting. I lost the bottom part of my rig. Certainly a bit of weight in the fish. I had put a brand new leader on, so I'm not sure why that happened. Well, better re-rig.
Taylor.
Well,
What did it brought you off? Or?
No, it actually broke it off down near the swivel, at the base of the swivel. But it was a decent bite. Okay, very cool. All right, well, I had that big bite before, and I'm not sure what happened with that, because I made sure I tied some really good knots. It was all fresh line, fresh leader. But anyway, I'm getting a bite. Oh yeah. That was quick. That yellowtail's pretty good bait. I only just hit the water really. No jumping yet. Oh, yep, there goes the jump. Oh, got off. I saw that was a salmon. It jumped and shook its head and got off. Oh, well, hopefully my bait's still okay. I can whack it straight back out again. He must have only just been lipped, that guy. Let's have a look at it. Oh, it's pretty hacked. Pretty hacked. There's not that much left of it. Yeah, it's. I think I really need to put the other piece on. Actually, so I might save that little bit of meat just in case I run low on bait. I can actually cast that yellowtail bait quite a long way. I'm going to hold on to it because I got a bite so quick before. Yeah, I'm getting a bite. Something's going on out there. Swimming towards me. Oops. What's going on? I think I better wind it in and strike. Yeah, got him. Man, that was quick as well. Super quick. This is just so much fun. Is this a salmon or a tailor? I think it's a salmon. Hang on. Yeah, it's a salmon. So that was super quick as well. You can see that yellowtail, he's really munched it up. I'm going to grab him. And the smaller hook has got him as well. He's really only just caught in the edge of the mouth. Just going to take the hook out of this guy, just pinned in the side of the mouth so I can get that out pretty easily. And I'm going to let this guy go. They usually have a lot of energy when you let them go. Especially if you let them go, oops, oh, in the shallow water, you watch. Off he goes. Oh, he's going to have to wait for the next wave. But as soon as this wave hits him, oh, there he goes. Woo! Well, I haven't got any yellowtail left. I got 4 fillets from that one yellowtail and I've used it all. I do have a few pilchards with me, so I might actually reload this one with a pilchard. I'm going to get this hook, put it through the pilchard, still slightly frozen, pull it through, pin it down near the base, just behind its head there. Then I'm going to get this other hook and I'm going to put that one just beside the backbone. Otherwise, if you hit the backbone with the barb of the hook, it won't go through. Pull that through so you can see that one's there. This one's buried in the fish. Going to put a loop around the tail, and I think what I might do, got my 2 hooks in there, is I'm actually going to just pinch the head off. I'll pinch that off, expose all that flesh, and I'll feed this head to the local seagull. He's been very patient. So you can see I've got that running sinker rig, and in this case it's what you'd call 3/4 of a pilchard hanging there, and I reckon it won't last very long when I cast it out. I haven't had a chance to toss my other line out with the worm on it because it's just been getting hammered. I'm getting really good distance with that, and it's just landing where the fish are. All right, let's see how long it takes to get a bite. Oh, hey, I'm getting a bite already. Hang on. Just walking back so I can keep in touch with it. Yep, got him. I knew that was going to happen. My bait is landing right on the edge of where the sandbar drops off into the deep water. I'm probably getting about a 60 or 70 metre cast in. Putting a little bit of effort into it. I'm going to walk down a little bit closer to the edge. There he comes. Not that big, this guy. This guy again has been nailed by the small hook. I'm going to let this guy go as well. Here he comes. Oof. Well, that pilchard, it didn't last long at all. I'm actually going to grab my other rod and toss a worm bait out because I haven't been able to do that. It's just had so much action the last little while. So I'm reloading this one with some beach worm. I'll toss it out in a similar area, similar zone. See if I get a bite just as quick as with the yellowtail and the pilchard. Now this bait should fly out through the air pretty well. Okay. Yep, it's right out there. Almost landed in the same sort of spot as, just pulling it back towards me a little bit, as the last cast. I'm concentrating. I'm very expectant. Yeah, getting a bite now. I had some sort of bite then. Yeah, I've got him. Woo! Oh, look at that! My goodness. That must be a bigger one. We're going to walk down the beach. He's heading this way. I pull quite hard on this medium tackle. This reel is spooled with 15-pound line, which is not ultra heavy. My other rod has 20-pound line on it. I think that's just a really good weight for tossing those baits that I had. Look, this guy swam right up onto the shore. Whoa. I need to use this wave. Help me get him up a bit. It's another green torpedo. Look at that guy. Oh, man, they've got a lot of strength. Well, this has been a really enjoyable little session. I've used 3 different baits, beach worms, some fresh yellowtail and pilchard. All baits have been working quite well. Really, at the moment, every single time I chuck my line in the water, I get hooked up. I can feel a bite coming on. I could feel something then. Yep, something's going on. It's swimming towards me. Yep, here we go. Another fish. Whoa! This is non-stop action in this little session. Oh boy, this is like going to the gym. fish. So this one's on the paternoster rig, and he's only lipped, or sort of lipped, so I'm going to let him go. Oh, I hate it when they flick sand in your face. You can see the long shank hook in the side of his mouth. Actually, I'm spitting out sand, courtesy of the fish. All right, let's let him go. Okay, buddy. Yeah, here he goes. Yeah, he's gone. Whoa. You know, whether you are a newbie to fishing or you've been fishing for decades like I have, these rigs are awesome. And the proof is in the pudding in this video. I've had an epic session in a really short period of time. If you'd like a free PDF download of some vital keys from today's session, hit the link in the corner or in the description below. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.